You know how it is when you get a Bible not your own, and you know it's on the left side of a certain page. As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man who had been born blind. His followers asked him, "Teacher, whose sin caused this man to be born blind? His own or his parents?" Jesus said, "It's not this man's sin or his parents' sin that made him be blind. This man was born blind so that God's power could be shown in him. While it is daytime, we must continue doing the work of the one who sent me. The night is coming and no one can work at night. While I'm in the world, I'm the light of the world." After this, Jesus said this. After he said this, he spit on the ground and made some mud with it. Put the mud on the man's eyes. Then he told the man, "Go and wash in the Pool of Siloam." So the man went to the pool. Now, you got to understand that this happened in the upper city, way up there. And then he sent this blind man, and he said, "Go to this." He didn't have to. There was other water in the city. It wasn't that he had to come here. And I often thought about how easy it would have been for this guy to go wash the mud off someone else. Or how many ladies saw him coming down the street and said, "Oh, you poor man, who put that mud on your eyes? Let me wash that off for you." But he followed Jesus' commands absolutely directly, and he got the result. He spit on the ground, he made some mud with it, he put the mud on the man's eyes. Then he told the man, "Go and wash in the Pool of Siloam." So the man went to the pool, he washed and came back, and he was able to see. Some people had seen this man begging before. They and the man's neighbors said, "Look, is this the same man who always sits and begs?" Some, "Yeah, he's the one." Others said, "No, he's not the same man, he only looks like him." So the man himself said, "I'm the man." They asked, "What happened? How'd you get your sight?" He answered, "The man named Jesus made some mud." Did he know what Jesus looked like? No, never saw him. A man named Jesus made some mud, put it on my eyes, told me to go to Siloam and wash, so I went and washed. And I came back seeing. They asked him, "Where is this man?" He said, "I don't know. Wouldn't know him if I saw him." Then the people took to the Pharisees the man who had been blind. The day Jesus had made mud and healed his eyes was a Shabbat. So now the Pharisees asked the man, "How did you get your sight?" He said, "He put mud on my eyes. I washed. Now I see." Pharisees were saying, "This man does not keep the Shabbat. He's not from God." Others said, "But a man who is a sinner can't do miracles like these." So they could not agree with each other. They asked the man again, "What do you say about him?" "It was your eyes he opened," the man answered. "He's a prophet." The Jews did not believe that he'd been blind and could now see. He'd been faking all these years just to set this up. So they sent for the man's parents and they asked them, "Is this your son?" "Yep." "You say he was born blind? And how does he see now?" "His begging business is ruined." His parents answered, "We know this is our son. We know he was born blind, but we don't know how he can see now. We don't know who opened his eyes. Ask him. He's old enough to answer for himself." His parents said this because they were afraid. Jews had already decided that anyone who said that Jesus was the Christ would be put out of the synagogue. This is why his parents said, "He's old enough, ask him." So for the second time, the leaders called the man who had been blind, and they said, "You should give God the glory by telling the truth. We know that this man's a sinner." He says, "I don't know if he's a sinner or not. What do I know? The one thing I do know, I was blind, and now I see." The leaders asked, "What did he do to you? How did he make you see again?" He said, "I've already told you that, but you wouldn't listen to me. Why? Do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his followers too?" Oh, then they were Then they insulted him and said, "You are his follower. We are the followers of Moses. We know that God spoke to Moses. We don't even know where this man comes from." And the man answered, "Ooh, this is a strange thing. You don't know where he comes from. And yet he opened my eyes." We all know that God doesn't listen to sinners, but God listens to anyone who worships and obeys him. Nobody has ever heard of anyone giving sight to a man born blind. And this guy would have researched that. He would have Googled that because he was born blind and he wanted to know if there was ever a chance. Nobody has ever heard of anyone giving sight to a man born blind. If this man were not from God, he could do nothing. They answered, "Oh, you were born full of sin," meaning that's why you were born blind. "Are you trying to teach us?" And they threw the man out. Jesus heard that they'd thrown him out. So Jesus found him and said, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" He said, "Who's the Son of Man, sir? Tell me. I'd be glad to believe in him." Jesus said to him, "You've already seen him. The Son of Man is the one talking with you now." He said, "Yes, Lord, I believe." The man bowed and worshiped Jesus. Jesus said, "I came into this world so the world could be judged. I came so that the blind could see, and so that those who see will become blind." Some of the Pharisees were near Jesus. When they heard him say this, they asked, "What? Are you saying that we are blind too?" Jesus said, "If you were really blind, you wouldn't be guilty of sin. Now that you say you can see, your guilt remains." Well, this is an exciting place because it's only been a few years now that this says, and we only see just part of this monumental pool. You can get an idea of how large it must have been if it was square. It's fantastic. They used to just show you a little hole in the ground and say that was it, and everybody knew that wasn't it. But now I don't think anybody grasped how big and beautiful Pool of Siloam was at Jesus' time. So, it's this is just one edge of it. See, that's where it makes a turn, corner. Here it makes another corner down there. And so